Hi, my name is Michel Paquette. I am part of the Globe 25 Model Car Club in Montreal. This is a replica of an older ID. I saw in Cത്തോté enthusiast. I have the ID to replicate it with a 68 Chevelle from Revel at the time. It was a new kit.
I'm here with the Globe 25 Club at NNL East, and I'm with Daniel Bazinet. These guys have put together a great project. They've springboarded off of something that the Newburgh Club did many years ago. The Newburgh Club is blown away.
Rick Hanmore, Town of Newburgh Model Car Club. And
that's okay that we use your sign to do the same thing as a thank you?
We are honored that you mentioned us, and I think this is fantastic. What catches me the most is the presentation. We built cars and put them out on a table, but I love the fact that you can read the story with each car, and the ending. You know, we had cars. I built the last one, and it was just a guy selling parts at a car show, and to have the car back to restored at the auction, I think that's a fantastic.
Yeah, and that time it wasn't Barrett Jackson.
You're correct. It wasn't even there, you know. So yeah, I think that's amazing. I heard of this. I said, oh, Chevelle's, and it's all different. You got a different timeline. You've got a different.
And you got a story.
Different things happen to the cars. It's unique, and it's a tribute, but it's unique as well.
So I had a question for you. When I was reading here, it says, my arrival at the dealership. Is that from the perspective of the owner or the car?
The car.
The car, okay.
All that is the Chevelle talking. My life, that's the life of the Chevelle. Everything that's written under it is the car talking. It's not us, the builders.
Yeah, so we have two different
way of showing it.
Yeah, right, exactly. We did it from an individual perspective. You did it from the car perspective. Yeah. Nice angle. I really like it.
We thought it was more appropriate to be in that era, you know, being the car by itself.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We started the project after seeing the video that was talking about the same project done 32 years ago. A few members of the club, because we're about 20 members, decided to do the 68 Chevelle SS the same way, which is the life of the car by itself. The only starting choice that we had, it had to be some kind of evolution of the car through the years. So that's why you see the same color to a lot of those cars, and at the end, when it came back to be sold at Barrett Jackson, the car came back the way it was at day one at the dealer. Yeah, we had a lot of meetings to be sure that everybody is doing what they like and it could fit into the project.
Yeah. We kind of did the same thing. You know, we had one guy, he wanted to do the wreck, and another guy, he wanted to do, you know, the beginning.
And whatever they're doing, they're good at it. So
yeah, that's a good way to do it.
If you don't have a fun doing it, you won't do the project. Everybody at their time, whatever they're good at, or one is better to doing rust and doing nice shiny paint, and we like to modify, but the first thing was building something that you already love to build. So don't go to do rust if you're not good at it, you know.
Your specialty, your passion is what they should follow.
Yeah.
I'm here with François Richard, and he has the 1984 version of the car. It's the drag car, truly a drag car because I see it on the windows.
Yeah, and I'm a drag racer fan. I'm actually drag racing myself, so it was natural for me for doing that. And as far as the previous one was a street machine, the guy was getting the taste of drag racing in the street and then goes to the track. So I was the one to do that version. I did with a lot of inspiration, yes, and love, but also I tried, really, it's a C-stock. Actually, it's a big block Chevelle that would really run on the CS class. What I put on the car should be okay for a real car.
So cool. And the stance, I mean, it's gone from this street car that was like this, like 70s jacked up with the air shocks and the whole thing, to more of a stance where the car's really going to hook on the track.
Not good anymore on the track, so you have to, No, I had a lot of fun, and plumbing everything out under the hood. It's not open, but really well detailed, so I'm pretty proud. Did a real nice display. I mean, it enhances all the cars. It's really awesome. I'm a proud member since the beginning.
You guys have been doing this how many years?
November 1984, registered at the 85 Club.
Now, how was it working with others?
Every week, every meeting, we discuss. Discuss with the guy before and the guy after. Just make sure that there was a line that would be okay. So, because like the guy says, well, actually the original car was with the white interior. He decided when he did the straight machine to put it in black. So mine is in black and the coloring, and then it came back. But those kind of details, and he blew out the engine, so then he put a small block in after the big block. Things like that. We did a story in our head and tried to follow the real life of a car would be. But
sounds like great fun.
Yeah, it was.
This is we were so flattered to see that. Paul said to us before, he goes, they did a clone of the Chevelle project.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, this is so great. You did a nice job. I love the whole way you did from new to the Barrett Jackson. Yeah, really nice.
Done by everybody, and we almost lost it because two guys are no more with us.
Oh, that's sad.
But,
we have the same situation.
Yeah, but it ended up, because a lot of times you plan something and it doesn't work that way.
Yes. How long did it take altogether?
Well, more than a year, because everything was ready, and one of our friends say we should do a display at the back, and the other guy did all the showing at the back. We had one of our friends doing the building. It had to look right.
You guys did a fantastic job. Thanks.
Sadly, we had two members that passed away. The first one is Daniel Lynch, and the last one is Mario Defoy. We had to go with the family that were really nice to give us those kits so that we can put them in the old diorama. Every person, you got the name of everybody, whoever built the car, and we had meetings to know which one's going to do what, so they don't scrap the project.
So at the meetings, would everyone bring in their progress?
Yeah, I'm going to do bent fenders. I'm going to do, they changed. We know at that time how it was working, You had a car, and 3 weeks after, you had the large tire at the back, raised rear, so that's the way it was done. And it goes the same thing through the years. When we put the LS3 in it, that's the year that people were doing that, so it had to be close to the end.
Wow, so it's also a study in what was period correct.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
My part of this display is the beater Chevelle here. It's basically the drag version that the guy removed all the drag parts on the car. He replaced the engine with the LT1 from the 1969 Camaro. I did a few weathering. I did the paint with some faded spots, like it's been touched up, and I put Kriegers on it to look more like a daily driven beater.
Those are just the right touch, that bit of chrome, the Kriegers. I love the fact that we have all this comparison, and you see some gloss paint here and here, but there's just that amount of weathering that tells you the story that it is that driver. It's not that beat up, but it's a driver.
It's
a real
driver,
car.
yeah.
It helps you hear the engine too. It gives you that feeling.
That famous small block.
Yeah.
The newer the car is, of course, the glossier the paint is. And further in the time, it goes a little bit further. And there's a rebuilding project here. In fact, I built the body on this one too.
Okay.
This is a friend of mine who's passed away. He asked me, because I had the paint at home, he asked me to paint the kit, the body. He built all the rest. So I painted the body on this one, and every one you see as a turquoise edition. It's the same color, it's Tripoli turquoise. It's an authentic Chevrolet 1968 Chevrolet paint at the time.
Such a classic color on this car. Did you all vote on the color and the interior color?
I had the idea to put it a blue or a turquoise because it looks 60s.
Yeah.
It's a popular color in the 60s. So I asked Daniel, we talked to every member who was willing to get in this project. So we decided that the car will be turquoise. Of course, with a white interior for the beginning, and at the end, because it's its original color. It changed color during the time. And if you look at mine, you can even see that the paint, black paint on the seats is fading. You can clearly see there's white under the paint because it's worn out, because the paints have been, the seats have been painted with leather paint. Everything's in the detail.
Yeah, I know, boy, you guys have the details.
I just love to make this display. It reminds me real good souvenirs.
And that philosophy to follow the era, spring of 88 and then up to in 99, you can really kind of remember back to what it was like in those days.
Exactly.
And that tells the story.
Yeah.
But I really like the fact that you expanded on what we had started. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Your visual display is significantly better than what we did.
Yeah, we had one guy, Sonny-Steven Cոտé. He's c'est quoi ton titre? Graphic designer. Graphic designer, so it's his way of looking something and showing us to the club. You like the idea, we could put a car at the back. I'm his worst customer, paying nothing to have something done, and not that size, no, not that way, not inside the dealer. We had to have something, without building a building. So, and the back is done in 3D because the Chevelle was too expensive to buy.
It looks very factory to me. It certainly has the flavor. Plus, I like the way the Chevelle is kind of animated. A little more than just what the factory did. You've done an amazing job.
Thank you.
What was your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge is the Chevelle SS 68 in 3D. J'ai dû le faire, le dessiner. I designed it in 3D and print it and put the chrome on it, and that's the biggest challenge for me. And the rest is just the pictures, and I print the pictures sampled.
I really like the flavor of what you've done with the logo, the SS396, because it's the graphics, the font, it's everything that we remember about what a Chevelle is.
I make some research about the logos and I redesign it from scratch.
Really cool. And you went from the dealership to the bookend of it being at Barrett Jackson. I'm impressed by the ramp. You watch Barrett Jackson, you know when they're done because the car is starting to go like this.
Going the ramp.
That was the still photograph of what we all remember. Perfect.
We try to respect the real thing, the real picture of my inspiration. And I did that car.
You did the DuPont car.
Yeah.
That's a diorama in itself.
Yes. It's an upgrade of this car. The guy going in the trail with this car, so I don't know how to say it in English. J'ai voulu, le gars a aimé ça, il a pris des commanditaires. Puis là, suite à ça, il a décidé de faire de la course de façon professionally. Puis là, il y a eu un accident avec son véhicule. Donc là, il est pris dans un... he's stuck in the ditch.
Especially this guy up in front. He looks a little disgusted.
Yes, absolutely. So that's the evolution for that car.
And what made you pick the 68 Chevelle?
Brand new release.
Yep.
Better kit than all the other ones, except the mirror that everybody had problem with, because they're two parts and you lose them
easily.
Yeah. Pierre Leco did all the metal stuff,
work for the
and
trunk.
It's really metal, so
yeah, it looks
it's aluminum.
very nice.
You got the underneath. You got it looks simple, but it's not.
Yeah, I like the fact that you added the Barrett Jackson Auction at the end. Really nice.
The start, the end.
Yeah, really nice.
Well, and people, the guys at the club say, okay, we should put stripe. No, it didn't add stripe. Even that picture, they had stripes, so I had Sonny to remove the stripes. They had no stripes. At the start, they'd have to finish with no stripe.
Okay. Do you have Mike Joy or Steve Magnanti or anybody down there?
No. We should. I'm really happy with it, with the product.
It's fantastic. I really thank you for doing this. It makes us feel really good to know that.
And the video that we saw was another incitative, nice. They say, you see? Everybody is going to see it, so they know that we're okay with showing it.
Sure, of course. It's also nice because it shows modeling is global, right?
Yeah.
We don't care where we live.
No.
It's just a fun hobby to have.
I'm here with Tino Battisti. He did the Hugger Orange Chevelle. Why Hugger Orange?
Well, my cousin had one and it was orange, and I started driving in '69 on my cousin's Chevelle, and that's where I learned to drive. So when I seen the model, I said, it'll bring me back memories when I started learning how to drive cars, and I loved it. And the guys agreed that I can do it orange, so I did it orange, driver.
So the car you drove, was it jacked up in the back?
That was the style in the,
Oh,
in the
yeah.
80s.
Oh, yeah.
79, 80s, that was the style.
That was a good look, especially on a Chevelle.
Especially on the Chevelle.
Yeah.
I didn't have any blades on that time, so people used to put traction bars and lift them up with the shocks.
Yeah, slapper bars, you're all set?
Yeah, it was a nice project when the club asked us to do them. I agreed, and let's do it.
So in the progression, you were the first one to go from the white interior to the black interior.
Yes, on the black interior. They wanted a black interior because his was black. Then when he sold it, it became a drag car. And then the way down came a dirt racer, a weekend wrecker, and then progressed back to normal, a full restoration. That was fun to build.
It's a good study of 1978.
Yeah, I know, I loved that project. And I gave him a good hand. I did the showroom. And for fun, I marked the address on the while I was doing the drawing, 1968, so they kept the address the same year as the car.
Oh, perfect, of course. I can't wait to see what comes next. This next project's going to be cool too.
And we're working on another one, which is going to be Orange Julep. That's a restaurant in Quebec, and it's going to be for old cars. And always to keep in mind the thing that your group did, because that's at the time, 32 years ago that we saw on the video, it was incredible. It was, everybody was, Club 25 was still a big club in Quebec, and we had to do that. You know, it said one day, you know, the thing that you always say, one day, that's the day.
You guys should be so proud that you were able to pull it off with all that gets on in life.
Yeah, and you don't have time to say, two friends passing, you know. The project would have been, wouldn't be there if those two ones weren't there.
This is amazing, and as a member of the club, I can just tell you we're thrilled to see you here.
Thank you.